On an ordinary flight, the roar of the engines is a comforting hum. But what if that sound suddenly transforms into an ominous crackle of impending disaster? On February 20th, 2021, the tranquility above Denver turned into a fiery spectacle as United Airlines Flight 328 encountered the unthinkable, a catastrophic engine failure. As the Boeing 777-200ER shook violently and debris rained down over suburban neighborhoods, passengers clung to their seats, caught between terror and fate. This shocking incident not only unsettled those on board, but sent ripples of urgency across the global aviation industry. What vanishing secrets beneath the sleek surface of a well-trusted aircraft led to this near-catastrophe? As United Airlines Flight 328 took to the skies from Denver International Airport on that fateful winter afternoon, it was anticipated to be a routine journey bound for Honolulu, Hawaii. With the Boeing 777-200ER soaring smoothly into the clear blue sky, passengers settled into their seats, expecting nothing more than the lull of a mid-flight movie or the anticipation of a warm beach at their destination. However, just a few minutes into the flight, any semblance of routine was shattered by an alarming jolt. A critical engine failure that would soon be etched into the annals of aviation safety history. The aircraft's right engine, a Pratt & Whitney PW4000, suddenly experienced a catastrophic failure when one of its massive titanium fan blades shattered mid-flight. This failure turned the once steady whir of the engine into a cacophony of metallic clangs and unsettling vibrations. Parts of the engine's cowling, now dislodged from their secure positions, began hurtling through the sky. These large pieces of debris scattered across the suburban neighborhoods below, landing on front lawns and streets, and even through roofs, fortunately causing no injuries on the ground. Inside the cabin, the atmosphere rapidly shifted from calm to chaos. The initial sounds of failure echoed with a fireball erupting from the engine, visible from passenger windows. Smoke and fear filled the air as passengers tightened their seatbelts and gripped armrests, some offering silent prayers, others comforting their neighbors. Flight attendants, trained for emergencies, hurried through the cabin, offering reassurances and preparing passengers for what lay ahead. Meanwhile, the cockpit crew, led by a seasoned captain, faced the daunting task of managing the emergency at hand. At the heart of the incident was the complexity of aviation technology and human expertise colliding. The pilots, adeptly handling the crisis, communicated with air traffic control while carrying out emergency procedures designed precisely for such engine failures. Their actions were underpinned by years of rigorous training, allowing them to shut down the malfunctioning engine and steer the aircraft back to the safety of the Denver runway. Their calm demeanor amidst the crisis played a critical role in turning what could have spiraled into a disaster into a textbook example of skilled airmanship. Back on the ground, emergency services were on high alert, ready to respond. Their swift coordination ensured that fire trucks, ambulances, and police were in place long before the plane touched down. The scene at Denver International Airport was tense, yet orchestrated like a well-rehearsed symphony, mirroring the inherent efficiency demanded in such situations. As the aircraft made its emergency landing and came to a halt, passengers disembarked, some shaken, others visibly relieved, but all safe. A poignant testament to aviation safety's core mission, to protect life. The incident of United Airlines Flight 328 did more than test the preparedness of those involved. It sent shockwaves through the industry, spurring immediate regulatory scrutiny. The undeniable harrowing experience also served as a crucial reminder of the importance of thorough inspections and maintenance protocols that are the cornerstones of aviation safety standards. With the initial scare managed, attention soon turned to the underlying technical failure that prompted this near catastrophe, the broken fan blade inside the aircraft's engine. In the pursuit of understanding and mitigating the risks of such failures, further investigation would unveil the causes and lead to active measures for prevention. As the inquiry began, the focus shifted to examining the broader impact on global aviation safety and the implications of the damaged engine, setting the stage for increased introspection and debate across the industry. The incident with United Airlines Flight 328 that unfolded over Denver on February 20th, 2021, was intensified by a mechanical failure that took experts and the general public by surprise. The Boeing 777-200ER, equipped with Pratt & Whitney PW4000 engines, experienced a catastrophic failure when a fan blade shattered mid-flight. This failure was not just an isolated incident, but a complex mechanical breakdown that had immediate and potentially devastating consequences. The fan blade's malfunction set off a chain reaction, leading to parts of the engine's cowling tearing off and scattering debris in their wake, which could have had deadly repercussions both for those on board and people on the ground. The fan blades in jet engines are engineered to withstand intense conditions, including varying speeds and severe pressure changes throughout a flight. They are made of titanium and meticulously designed to endure and function reliably over countless cycles. Thus, when the fan blade on Flight 328's right engine unexpectedly failed, it highlighted a critical vulnerability in an otherwise robust aviation system. The failure not only tore through the engine itself, but exposed it to possibilities of high-velocity shrapnel, fragments of engine parts that could compromise cockpit controls or even penetrate the cabin. What followed the fan blade's disintegration added a dramatic layer to the incident. The cascading effect of dislodged engine components ignited a fire, visible eruptions that could be viewed from within the aircraft and below on the ground. Flames leapt from the damaged engine, creating a terrifying visual for passengers who glared out windows, seeing plumes of smoke trailing alongside their aircraft. As the fire blazed, the risk of escalation remained high, necessitating swift action by the pilots in command. Concurrent with the unfolding crisis, below flight path, neighborhoods in Broomfield, Colorado, unexpectedly faced a rain of debris, with shrapnel landing voraciously amidst residents who were abruptly thrust into the scenario. Pieces large enough to pose significant danger, including engine cowls, were strewn across streets and front porches. Miraculously, no injuries were reported among the community, a stroke of fortune amidst potential disaster. This collateral impact underscored the broader perils of in-flight engine disintegration and its wide-reaching implications. Meanwhile, in the cockpit, the quick-thinking actions of the flight crew played a pivotal role in controlling the situation. Faced with unpredictable variables, their priority was to reroute the aircraft back to Denver's runways as safely as possible. Their expertise in handling the emergency was the fulcrum of turning a dire situation into an effective crisis resolution. Their actions, underscored by procedural precision and calm under pressure, spoke volumes of the training and preparedness ingrained in aviation personnel, which functioned crucially in such high-stress environments. This incident of engine failure not only propelled immediate questions about the aircraft's mechanical reliability, but also about the inspection processes that had led up to this point. How a fan blade, a component subject to regular checks, had reached a point of catastrophic failure without pre-warning indications became a focal issue that prompted industry introspection. It also opened up broader debates regarding regulatory oversight and the role of maintenance culture in preventing such events. With the aircraft safely returned to ground and no casualties recorded, the next phase involved the urgent need for scrutinizing the mechanisms and oversight failures that permitted such an engine malfunction. Industry stakeholders, inspectors, and regulatory bodies were compelled to investigate deeply, not only to uncover the cause, but to prevent future occurrences. In addressing what had been a close call, the stakes were high, ensuring the safety of aircraft equipped with similar Pratt & Whitney engines and reassessing maintenance protocols now deemed critical. Amidst the chaos of United Airlines Flight 328's ordeal, one stabilizing force rose above the din: the professionalism and skill of the flight crew. With the right engine compromised following the catastrophic fan blade failure, the cockpit became the epicenter of control and calm under pressure. In the moments after the engine's disintegration ignited a fire, the experienced crew faced an urgent and complex array of decisions. Their response became a textbook case of aviation expertise and preparedness, transforming a potential aerial catastrophe into a narrative of human valor and technical precision. Captain Eric Sal, a veteran pilot with years of experience, led the operations in the cockpit. Together with First Officer Scott Mills, the team epitomized a composed mastery that became pivotal in averting disaster. As alarms blared, the pilots immediately began executing emergency procedures, practiced during countless training sessions, but rarely performed in real life. The goal was twofold: stabilize the chaotic elements introduced by the engine failure and guide the large aircraft back to safety. Together with the flight crew, they adeptly handled communications with air traffic control, performing a delicate balance of maintaining flight control while initiating a turn back towards Denver International Airport. The precision with which the crew followed emergency protocols, quickly shutting off fuel to the compromised engine, altering the course, and managing the aircraft's descent, was instrumental. Throughout the ordeal, communication remained clear and focused, ensuring coordinated efforts both inside the aircraft and with emergency response teams awaiting at Denver's runways. Their training was evident in every maneuver, illustrating the critical importance of redundancy and procedural practice in aviation safety. Inside the cabin, a team of flight attendants mirrored the professionalism seen in the cockpit. They rapidly assessed passenger safety, ensuring compliance with fastened seatbelt signs and readiness for a possible emergency landing. This included reassurances and instructions that were vital in keeping panic at bay. Despite the visual of flames and the awareness that part of the aircraft had malfunctioned, passenger behavior remained largely controlled, a scenario fostered by the competence displayed by the entire flight team. As the aircraft made its descent, the culmination of skilled piloting, clear communication, and the structured mechanics of aviation safety bore fruit. With only one functioning engine and the possibility of further technical failure looming, the pilots expertly aligned the Boeing 777 for final approach, a nerve-wracking task given the aircraft's size and the damage incurred. The landing was executed with meticulous care. The aircraft touched down smoothly upon Denver's concrete, its wheels kissing the tarmac as emergency vehicles trailed closely, lights ablaze and ready to act. Relief was palpable as passengers disembarked, their gratitude towards the crew evident in spontaneous applause and mutual expressions of disbelief and thankfulness. The avoidance of injury or fatality stood as a testament to what structured drills, deep training, and informed reaction can achieve when placed under the most severe tests. It was a culmination of procedures functioning seamlessly, despite an unforeseen and dangerous fault, a reassurance of human capability within the high-tech world of aviation. With the immediate danger behind them, focus rapidly shifted to understanding the broader implications of the incident. For regulatory bodies like the Federal Aviation Administration, the task was now to address the incident's underlying causes comprehensively and to restore confidence in flying the skies safely. What happened aboard Flight 328 shifted from a test of acute crisis management to one of long-term safety strategy, necessitating an unprecedented response in examining similar engines and preemptively diffusing potential risks. This specific focus on the engines marked the next stage in the post-incident process, and as scrutiny intensified, the narrative of how to prevent recurrence took center stage. The sudden and unexpected engine failure on United Airlines Flight 328 sent a crucial signal flashing across the aviation world. The spectacle of engine components raining down over Colorado neighborhoods catalyzed a rapid response that transcended borders. Within hours of the near-tragic event, aviation authorities worldwide found themselves facing a daunting question. Could similar engines suffer the same fate? The Boeing 777-200ER involved was equipped with Pratt & Whitney PW4000 series engines. Not an exclusive engine model, but one that powered numerous aircraft across various carriers and countries. This connection meant the incident was not just a challenge for United Airlines, but an urgent call to action for the global aviation community. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, led the charge in addressing the pervasive threat perceived from this malfunction. Recognizing the potentially catastrophic risks posed by unseen engine vulnerabilities, the FAA issued an emergency airworthiness directive. This directive required immediate inspections of the hollow fan blades, particular to the Pratt & Whitney engines involved in the incident. Other regulatory bodies like the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, EASA, and Japan's Civil Aviation Bureau quickly mirrored these steps, emphasizing the shared concern about engine integrity. Airlines around the world scrambled to comply with the directives, examining engines that could potentially harbor the same defect that led to Flight 328's malfunction. Back in hangars, technicians undertook detailed inspections utilizing advanced inspection techniques like thermal imaging and ultrasonic testing to detect minute cracks or stress points in fan blades, defects not easily discernible through regular visual checks. In lobbies and operations centers, fleet updates rolled in, detailing findings, timelines, and adjustments to flight schedules necessary to accommodate the sudden grounding and inspection of aircraft. The global scale of this inspection effort was monumental, reflecting both the interconnectivity and vulnerability of contemporary air travel. Airline operations were notably disrupted as affected Boeing 777s, equipped with Pratt & Whitney PW4000 engines, were sequentially withdrawn from service pending thorough assessments. Notable airlines, including Japan Airlines and All Nippon Airways, grounded several aircraft, a decision not taken lightly given its impact on passenger travel and cargo logistics. United Airlines, at the crux of the fallout, faced the challenging task of balancing safety assurances with operational continuity, working diligently to ensure their previously scheduled flights could still proceed with least disruption by deploying other aircraft types unaffected by the directive. While compliance with this rigorous inspection mandate placed a strain on airline schedules, the overriding priority remained the unequivocal safety of passengers and crew. The swift response underscored an industry built on the premise of safety first, where collaborative regulatory engagement is pivotal in maintaining high standards. Air travel had come to rely on intricate networks, where an isolated incident could ripple into a global aviation affair, compelling swift action and cooperation. As engineers and safety inspectors conducted comprehensive reviews of the Pratt & Whitney engines, airlines simultaneously engaged closely with passengers, ensuring transparent communication about delays and the safety procedures being enacted. Confidence in air travel heavily relies on perceptions of safety, making the candid sharing of information a critical part of managing the scenario. Yet these immediate measures were only the first steps in a broader campaign to address the deeper systemic issues in aircraft maintenance and manufacturing oversight. As inspections continued, the aviation industry prepared to enter the next phase of inquiry, determining how manufacturing practices, maintenance procedures, and inspection protocols could be refined to prevent such events from recurring. The FAA, along with other global counterparts, was poised to delve into this data, seeking not only to manage current challenges, but preempt future ones, ensuring that confidence in air travel is rebuilt and strengthened. In the immediate aftermath of United Airlines Flight 328's emergency landing, the aviation industry found itself confronting an urgent and critical decision to ensure the safety of all aircraft equipped with the same, potentially vulnerable Pratt & Whitney engines. Faced with the harrowing possibility of a broader systemic risk, aviation authorities acted decisively to impose temporary groundings. These measures, while disruptive, were seen as essential to averting future disasters, addressing both immediate safety concerns and maintaining public trust in an industry inherently reliant on absolute safety. The grounding directive was primarily led by the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, in the United States, the central regulator with jurisdiction over the skies in which Flight 328 encountered its failure. Citing the engine's potential inability to withstand the rigors of regular operational pressures, the FAA's decision underscored the severity with which it viewed the threat. This action demanded that all Boeing 777s using the specified Pratt & Whitney PW4000 engines undergo rigorous inspections before resuming flight. As the news disseminated, it triggered parallel actions by other global regulatory entities, all converging on the common objective: no compromises on safety. The decision to temporarily ground these aircraft had immediate and sweeping implications. Airlines globally faced significant disruptions as a portion of their fleets stood idle. Affected airlines scrambled to accommodate passengers and manage the operational chaos brought about by such a sudden reduction in available aircraft. For example, Japan Airlines and All Nippon Airways major carriers using the affected engines quickly grounded their respective fleets, necessitating rapid rescheduling and sometimes cancellations that disrupted both commercial and cargo operations. At airports, mechanics hustled between planes, equipped with advanced non-destructive testing equipment designed to detect minute fissures or weaknesses invisible to the naked eye. This process was not merely procedural, but a comprehensive approach towards rooting out any potential hazards. Ultrasonic tools and thermal imaging allowed engineers to examine the integrity of each fan blade and component in a manner far more scrutinizing than routine maintenance would typically allow. It was a measure involving not only a meticulous visual assessment, but also an empirical one to guarantee that no aircraft would re-enter service until its operational safety was absolutely ensured. The grounding decision also carried significant economic implications, highlighting the delicate balance between safety imperatives and financial viability within aviation. Airlines bore the brunt of increased operational costs from aircraft substitutions, crew reallocations, and passenger rebookings. Additionally, the temporary grounding sparked intense talks between airlines and manufacturers regarding liability, maintenance obligations, and the handling of interim logistics challenges. Beyond the operational response, the grounding served as a call for deeper introspection within the industry, probing the very manufacturing and maintenance processes that culminated in this scenario. It provided a stark reminder of the interconnectedness between manufacturing decisions, routine maintenance, and regulatory oversight in preserving air safety. As aircraft remained on the ground, discussions about bolstering continuous inspection protocols and refining communication between all stakeholders gained critical momentum. The temporary grounding, while inevitably disruptive, underscored a resolute commitment to passenger safety that ultimately defines global aviation. It signified an industry willing to pause and confront potential risks head-on, rather than risk future calamities. With the immediate safety concerns addressed through exhaustive inspections, attention turned to the deeper investigative journey aimed at uncovering the root causes behind the fan blade failure. Emerging evidence pointed towards lapses within manufacturing and maintenance processes, issues that became the next focal point of scrutiny, warranting industry-wide evaluations and reforms to prevent similar incidents in the future. As investigative teams delved into the details of the engine failure on United Airlines Flight 328, a complex picture surfaced, highlighting the subtleties and potential pitfalls of modern aviation engineering. At the heart of their inspection was the shattered fan blade, a critical component that succumbed under conditions it was designed to withstand. What emerged from the meticulous examination was a narrative of oversight within both manufacturing and maintenance processes, underscoring how even minor lapses could escalate into severe safety hazards. The process began with the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, in the United States, coordinating closely with Pratt & Whitney, Boeing, and other international regulatory bodies. Their task was to piece together the timeline of the fan blade's life cycle, from its initial design and manufacture to integrated operations within an engine. The investigation involved not only a thorough mechanical dissection of the failed components, but also an in-depth audit of production and upkeep documentation. What they found pointed to inherent vulnerabilities tied to both human and systemic factors. Examinations revealed that microscopic fatigue fractures had developed in the titanium alloy of the fan blade, a defect not readily apparent to the naked eye or detectable through standard visual inspections. Inspectors determined that these fractures likely propagated unnoticed during the regular operation of the engine, exacerbated by stress factors that had not been adequately accounted for during the blade's inspection routines. The investigation noted that existing protocols might not have been stringent or comprehensive enough to catch such anomalies. Further scrutiny suggested potential gaps in the manufacturing process itself. Reports indicated variability in quality control measures at the production facilities, leading to inconsistent material strength in certain batches of fan blades. This finding invoked broader questions about the regulatory frameworks ensuring quality assurances early in the production chain. As Pratt & Whitney and other stakeholders faced increased scrutiny, they encountered the challenge of reconciling these findings with what had been certified as tried-and-true manufacturing practices. Meanwhile, the investigation underscored the importance of routine maintenance as a critical line of defense against such failures. The scrutiny extended to airline maintenance crews and their adherence to inspection guidelines. Maintenance records for Flight 328's engine showed compliance with the recommended inspection timetable, yet questions arose regarding the thoroughness and technological support available during these checks. Investigators called for a re-evaluation of inspection frequencies and the integration of more sophisticated diagnostic technologies that could detect latent faults beyond surface-level evaluations. The revelations spurred a dual response: an immediate commitment from manufacturers to improve their quality assurance procedures and a broader industry-wide reassessment of maintenance practices. Pratt & Whitney, along with airframe manufacturers and global aviation stakeholders, initiated a series of corrective actions. These included updating manufacturing controls, enhancing training programs for inspection personnel, and aggressively pursuing technologies like advanced imaging techniques capable of detecting subsurface deficiencies. While these technical solutions were pursued, the incident also reignited deeper conversations within the aviation industry about the adequacy of existing safety protocols and the sustainability of maintenance practices. The challenge lay in balancing robust safety margins with operational realities, acknowledging that even the most sophisticated systems could harbor unforeseen vulnerabilities. As the aviation community absorbed these findings, the next narrative unfolded, focused on sparking wider industry debates about future safety standards. The unexpected failure on Flight 328 served as a reminder, compelling aviation authorities and stakeholders to engage in an introspective examination of their practices and to conceive strategic enhancements that could bolster flight safety in an evolving technological landscape. In seeking to learn from the failures unearthed by the investigation, the industry prepared to reassess and redefine its safety blueprint, ensuring such incidents would be part of history, not the future. The incident with United Airlines Flight 328 did more than expose a mechanical vulnerability. It reawakened and intensified debates about the fundamental tenets of aviation safety protocols and maintenance practices within the industry. The near disaster stirred dialogue among aviation experts, industry leaders, regulatory authorities, and the flying public alike, bringing safety standards and procedural efficacy under a microscope. Aviation safety protocols rely heavily on stringent regulations and practices that have evolved over decades. However, as the recent engine failure highlighted, even well-structured systems harbor potential gaps. The ensuing debates have been driven by a quest to identify these weak spots and patch them proactively. Key questions have risen to prominence. Are current maintenance checks sufficient? How can technology be better leveraged to preemptively spot structural weaknesses? What changes are necessary to align safety regulations with the increasingly complex aircraft technologies? Industry veterans and regulators were drawn into candid conversations regarding potential oversights and the perceived complacency in routine checks and balances. These discussions were underscored by a sobering reality. To the layman, aviation safety appears seamless and immutable. Yet behind the scenes, the complexities and intricacies demand constant vigilance and adaptation. The balance between profit-driven operations and safety-oriented goals has always been a delicate tightrope, and it came under fresh examination. Airlines persist in optimizing operational efficiency while adhering to rigorous safety standards, a dual objective that sometimes pressures maintenance schedules, crew workload, and resource allocation. The incident prompted a re-evaluation of whether such efficiencies compromise essential safety checks, and if so, how corrective action could mitigate these hazards without undermining operational viability. Technology was another focal point in the discourse. There was clear recognition that technology had evolved since many of the safety regulations were first implemented. Industry stakeholders emphasized the need for integrating advanced diagnostic tools, such as AI-driven monitoring systems capable of recognizing subtle signs of wear or potential failure that might be missed by human inspection alone. This technological leverage is poised to redefine how preventive maintenance is conducted, pushing for systems that predict and prevent failures before they materialize into incidents. Concurrent with these debates, regulatory authorities like the FAA faced calls for more rigorous oversight and perhaps even revisions to existing regulations. Some analysts suggested revising the criteria under which aging aircraft are evaluated, pressing for more frequent updates of risk assessments, and for bolstering collaborative efforts among global aviation players. Such collaborative frameworks would draw on shared expertise and data, reinforcing global aviation safety as a collective responsibility rather than a sum of disjointed national efforts. As stakeholders analyzed the lessons from Flight 328, there was an overarching message. Aviation safety, despite its impressive track record, is not infallible. It requires continuous scrutiny, assessment, and adaptation to emerging challenges and technological advancements. The heightened dialogue around maintenance and safety protocols embodies the industry's inherent resilience and commitment to learning from each incident, ensuring the skies remain safe for future travel. With discussions in motion to fortify these protocols, the aviation industry faced the subsequent challenge: translating these debates into actionable policy reforms and technological adoptions that effectively rid the system of vulnerabilities. The realization that proactive evolution is non-negotiable set the stage for comprehensive reforms, involving not just immediate actions, but long-term strategic planning and collaboration across international borders. As these dialogues continued, the focus turned to concrete steps and commitments necessary to operationalize these insights into safer skies for all.